All right, welcome to the Heart of the Matter podcast, where we have vulnerable and honest conversation about life and relationships. Now, what we say is, don't think you're going to come out here with clothes on. You got to come out here butt naked, all right? And so I'm your boy, Christopher Doc Reed, here with my wonderful homeboys. Pook, what's up?
What's happening?
Yeah. Joey.
What's going on?
Yeah. And we got in the studios. Oh, man.
Yep.
Pook. I don't even know how to. It's the chocolate.
Drop up, baby.
The chocolate drip lover. You know.
Right.
Low. Well, we call him Low, Marlo, okay? And so, welcome, man. How you doing?
What's happening, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, ladies.
B-Dub.
Y'all already know. You heard the voice? You heard the voice?
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Hey, what's up,
It don't flow the same.
Nah.
You good, man?
I'm good, bro. How y'all doing, man?
Doing good, man. Good.
Yeah. So, I remember
Just getting warmed up.
now
Baby. Just getting warmed up.
Pook and Low, best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all been homies for how long?
Man, since high school.
Yeah.
Right after high school.
Right
bro.
after high school. So
Yeah.
going on 30 years, close to 30 years.
So y'all know all the bodies is buried.
Everything.
Y'all know all the secrets that y'all say, bro, I'm taking this to my grave, for real.
Everything.
Womb to the tomb, baby.
Everything.
Okay. So, Pook, you know all the secrets to bring up in the interview, so to put all
Everything.
Lowe's
Yeah,
business
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Okay.
Listen,
Yeah.
We can destroy you a lot if we just get to talk.
You trap Low because you can't get out over there.
Yeah, we ain't got it. It ain't enough videotape
Okay. All right.
to do all what we know.
That's what it is. All right. So the way we typically started out, Low, is we go back to the beginning. And we talk about, how we were prepared. So basically, when you were growing up, your parents, how do you feel like they prepared you for relationships by either what they told you or what they showed you growing up?
Coming up, just, of course, everything was kind of church. So we didn't hear a lot about relationships. I seen a lot of things as far as my grandparents who were married for 40, 45 plus years, and my parents who are now married 51 years. It wasn't a teaching thing of this is how you date a young lady, this or how you court a young lady, and this is the way things are going to go in a relationship. And so it wasn't until I basically learned everything kind of on my own by mistakes through experience.
Okay.
Because the church was just, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Right.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
You going to hell.
Right.
I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got older, I wanted to learn the natural part of it. I understood the spiritual part, but the natural part of, hey, this is why you don't do this, and this is why you don't get, involved with this type of person.
Okay.
And so I found myself somewhat unequipped as I got a little bit older.
So once because you've been married, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you got out here and, saw what it really was, and if you want to talk about your marriage, that's where it became apparent, what was it that made you get the wake-up call like, oh, snap, they didn't tell me about this?
I can honestly say when I got married,
Okay.
You see your parents' marriage and you think that's the way your stuff is going to go. Mom did things a certain way, dad did things a certain way, grandma, granddad did things a certain way. So you automatically think your life is going to kind of fall right in suit, with older school type women who chasing type women. So you just say, hey, they're going to cook, they're going to clean, they're going to be respectful, they're not going to back talk, ain't nobody hanging out, doing, and not saying that my ex-wife did any of those things.
Okay, that was my next question, because did she call you out your name and hang out all night long?
No, very quiet, but sometimes the quiet is kind of the deadly type too,
Okay.
You have some women who are very boisterous, very demonstrative, and
Okay.
that's a turnoff. But also when you don't communicate, and I don't really know what what you're thinking.
Okay.
That's also just as dangerous.
Okay.
And so when we got married, just being honest, growing up in church, I was 22 before I lost my virginity, man.
Oh, wow.
I was holding pocket.
Okay. Okay.
Had a lot of female friends, and that perception was, oh man, this is the ladies, man. Not knowing, man, I was holding pocket.
Okay,
You know what I
really?
mean? Till I
Oh, so
was-
were they thinking, looking at you and the way you was moving, were they thinking, man, I know he running through all these chicks in the church?
A lot of women, a lot of people assumed that I was probably just out there being extra because they would see, how I carried myself or how they see me talking to certain women. And yeah, back then numbers was the thing. How many numbers you get? I got 5 today.
Yeah. Hell
Like I'm balling, right?
Lead the club,
But I wasn't doing nothing. And
Okay.
so I was basically with one female before my wife, and that interaction was like a minute. I was like, oh, what am I doing? I done messed up and stopped. So once I got married, and I thought everything was supposed to be just, all right, well, it's unlimited sex, unlimited access. Far from the truth, man.
Technically, it can be unlimited, but you was saying sometimes you got not tonight, or I got a headache, and
yeah, it was unfortunate. When we got married, she was 2 months pregnant. By the time she got married, so growing up the way I did, my first thing was hide it from the church. Because Marlo finally messed up. Lo finally took the bait.
He's human like the rest of us.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
he bleeds.
I hurried up. We got married. And so I'm like, okay, we're married now. No issues. Let's rock.
Yeah.
And, well, my body just going through changes. I'm not really having a strong desire for sex. At 23, 22, you're not trying to hear that. And you don't have any wisdom or understanding to deal with that. All I know is I got a Jones in my bones.
Yeah. Your testosterone is on 100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, even. I mean, because I know him.
Yeah, for sure.
And because our backgrounds is so much similar, right? Mm-hmm. Both parents, pastors. We grow up under this mindset to begin with that when he's painting the picture like we already taught what not to do, but then we're holding off. So he holding off for a long time, right?
Like the way, like you were.
Nah, I didn't hold up. I didn't say that. So
iron sharpen iron. My fault. I thought y'all was both.
I'm saying you got to understand the mindset though, right? You got the mindset of saying like I'm gonna hold off until I get married, and then when I get married, then it's supposed to be this access to what I'm now not sinning and bringing sin to God, right?
Yeah.
And so when we ain't sinning, then it's more so like he was saying, no, don't, stop, don't do this. That's the mindset you going into your marriage, right? Like we're not going to fornicate. We're not going to come out here and make sure we're misrepresenting our pastors, which is our dads, and then, our family in a certain way to not represent God. Mm-hmm. But then that, to me, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, that rushes you into marriage.
Yeah.
It rushes you into now. Only thing I know to do is to get married. Mm-hmm. I don't know what work in between that, but my mindset was in order for me to be covered sexually, I got to get married.
Got to get married. Better to marry than to burn.
Oh, that's
why you
that's the scripture.
Yeah.
Better to marry to burn. So now we're getting out here, and it ain't so much, hey, we'll court her. Make sure you're ready. Make sure y'all on one accord. And we just know, don't be unequally yoked. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
She a Christian.
You know what I mean? Make sure she a Christian. As long as she a Christian and she believe in God, and we feel like we're equally yoked. But it's more to it than that. So to come out and jump into a marriage, which I think in society prepares us more to buy a house, buy a car, do other things than it is for marriage. Only thing in marriage we know is find you a good wife. And what we think a good woman is, a good wife is, honestly, I can speak for me, is based off of what I saw. And what I saw is my mom. Me and him talk all the time. I didn't see my mom. I didn't know my mom before marriage. I didn't know how my mom moved before my dad. I didn't even know my dad, how he moved before marriage. We just know.
Do y'all feel like y'all deified your parents? Do you feel like your parents, they were like set in this special place,
Heck yeah.
and
Heck
you
yeah.
didn't see them as human and flawed,
No.
because you know there's some. And then sometimes when you become an adult, you see the flaws. You know, they're very apparent.
It wasn't until I was an adult till I started seeing flaws.
Okay.
My mom and dad. Now I didn't know them. I knew them as, to me, like I told him, is almost a perfect saint.
Yeah.
Only thing I knew my dad for is going to work in church.
Mm-hmm.
Man, ain't never been no place else. He ain't never slept on the couch.
Yeah.
I have never seen him address my mom in a foul way.
Yeah.
Never seen him call her out her name.
Yeah.
So me and him talk, I know it ain't been one of them things we grow up where my mom, basically, whatever my dad was saying, it was it. So I talk to my mom now to be like, Mom, you gave me really this false perception
Okay.
of women that think when I chose my wife, that when I said we going to church, we going to church.
Yeah. She just
When I
don't
said this is
follow
what
suit.
we doing for dinner,
Yeah.
it's what we doing for dinner, because it just felt like that was supposed to happen.
Now, Lo, I'm sorry. Have you had your own version of that conversation with your parents in any way? Say, come on, y'all. I mean, I know y'all meant well, but y'all didn't prepare me for this out here.
We haven't, man. There's some things that I talk to my mom about, and then there's some things that I've talked to my dad about. You know? And now that I'm in my 40s, I can put the pieces of the puzzle together a little bit more.
Would you feel comfortable talking to him about it, or are you like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man? That's like, not really.
You know what? It's funny you said that, because I'm just now really, like I said, man, at 46, man, really feel like I can go and really have this conversation with them about the things that I've seen, the things that I've experienced. And like I said, when they were coming up, when you asked that question, they did come up, even with spirituality, I was like, okay, this is the goal. This is the standard. No drinking, no smoking, never seen wine, smoke, never seen, we didn't even listen to Al Green, man. It was no R&B.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Mississippi Mass Choir, Reverend Timothy Wright, Colorado Mass Choir.
So if you had Alpines in your car, that's what you was pumping.
Listen, Alpine, every record you can imagine. I still know all the songs. You can't do nothing with me, man.
Mississippi Mass all in your
Gospel trivia. What is you feel me?
Yeah.
So man, like I said, I seen that from them, and then like I said, I seen my grandfather. He was the hard worker type dude, man. Strong, silent type. Didn't say a lot. My grandmother was the evangelist, man. So I put all this stuff together. I seen the men cook. I seen the men clean. I seen the men cut grass, help out. So I took that and said, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because this is what's going to make my marriage work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those things sometimes, I'm not saying that it's not appreciated, but some women, I think in that generation, as they go on, they don't really appreciate that kind of old school value, man. It's not really as widely accepted, man, as we continue to go on year after year after year.
You know what I see, and this is what I hear from even my clients. I think they definitely, many appreciate it, but now it's different from if the woman stayed home, didn't have to work. She took care of the kids and the home. The man went out and he worked and all of that. But now when you have the woman out, she's working. She may have a very stressful job or whatever. You got the guy working. Now she appreciates do the stuff, but then she wants you to connect with her emotionally. You know, she wants to, see that vulnerability, talk to me and all that. You never talk to me. And you like, I'm going out here and I'm working and I'm doing all this stuff to kill myself. And sometimes that's a frustration between men and women, because the guy's like, I'm doing what I know to do that I'm thinking is right. But she's like, I'm still not feeling connected emotionally. So, all right. So I know you said just at 40 something, you're just now thinking about broaching that with your parents. What's that discomfort? What's the barrier there?
Man, sometimes you still feel like that little kid.
You
know what I mean?
Okay.
I had a old school father, old school grandfather, you know what I mean? That would like snatch your soul out, man. You know what I mean? Okay. You talk back. You look like my dad. Be like, hey man, you got a problem with something? I said, nah, homeboy. What?
He just like
You just want to be physical. Don't you?
he just give you that look.
So it's a respect and a reverence, man, and a healthy fear that I always had of my dad, you know. And now, like I said, my dad is 75 years old, man. And it's funny that I can now just see the champ like, hey, Pop, okay, I'm the big dog now, man. You know what I mean? But I still have that reverence, that respect. And we never talked about those uncomfortable things such as sexuality, man, through the church. And that's why I think it's rampant. It's too many babies popping up for us not to be having sex. You know, but we just were not having that conversation, man.
Yeah.
And I think that has affected a lot of us because you look for that level of comfortability or place to land that you can say, hey, y'all didn't talk to me about sex. Y'all didn't talk to us about, you know, like nocturnal dreams. Why my drawers got this stuff in the morning. You know what I'm saying? We didn't talk about
It's like, what is that? Hey, you slid out of bed this morning. You know what I mean?
We didn't talk about that. Never found
Sheets
magazines
are stuck to your
in
butt.
the house. You know what I mean, man? It was none of that stuff. So I just learned everything kind of through experience, man. And so now it makes it a little tough to be like, why y'all didn't talk to me about this?
Yeah,
Why y'all didn't tell me that these were the pitfalls, like the real stuff? I understand the spiritual part, but why you didn't tell me about the possibility of child support? Why did you tell me about, for real, STDs? Thank God I never had one. But it was just like, those are some of the things you want to hear, or getting mixed in with the wrong woman that'll have your emotions jacked up, man. You know what I mean? And paying child support for the next 18 years. Those are some of those things that I feel like I needed to hear to maybe keep things kind of on an even keel, because you're still kind of curious. My natural DNA is I like women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as I'm getting older, I'm liking women. I'm seeing skirts, and now I understand why Sister Johns had to cover her legs up in the front. I used to walk around church. Why she got a napkin on her leg? And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, oh, she covering them gams up. You know what I'm saying? I get it now.
Like,
but we didn't have those talks, man.
Yeah. So now, still trying to figure it out. You divorced. Now, even with the divorce, what is it that you feel like? I mean, I guess there's always enough blame to go around. What did you feel like you did that contributed to it not working out?
Laundry list of things, man.
Well, we only got an hour.
Yeah.
So.
Laundry list.
48 minutes.
Being divorced, going on, man, 12 years, man. Getting ready to hit 12 years. I can look back and
see, these are neophytes. Well, you third time removed.
Yeah.
But yeah, new one. And then Joey, you're a new one. Okay. Yeah, fist bump.
Shut up. So, like I said, I know hearing Joy, and I hate that, man, that you know, you gotta go through that. But I think for me, and I gotta give kudos where they do. To me, Joe was that prototype nigga, right?
No, you can say nigga if that's what you're gonna say. Yeah.
I just look at Joe
explain that, because we've talked about Joey, Pook out how we see Joey.
Yeah.
But you go ahead and explain what you mean.
Joe to me was
just sit over there and
that,
take it, Joey. Just be
yeah,
humble.
man,
Don't
take
trip.
it, bro.
You know.
Just go on,
Give me my ball back.
Joe to me was like, okay, you can growing up in the city and you see what you call quote unquote good men. You see niggas that you just respect for they grind, they hustle or whatever.
Right.
But when you looked at what you thought a man should be, and as far as a husband,
right,
it's men and then it's husband. There's women and then there are wives, man. And it's a difference, dog. It just flat out is. You know what I'm saying? You gotta call it what it is. And so Joe was always humble, man. Always got a smile on his face.
Yep.
You ain't worried about Joe being like, he's gonna do the right thing when people looking and when they not looking, man.
Facts.
So it was just this element of character that he had. And so I used to be like, man, I wanted my marriage to be like Joey's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I respected him and how he handled himself. And
he hears that a lot.
I was
or he heard that a lot.
You know
Yeah.
I was wrestling with myself, like, get it together. Like, be like Joey. And that is just something, man, that you rarely see nowadays a man that's actually committed to his wife, actually loves his wife, actually honors and respects her in the way that he's moving out here. You know, it ain't nothing extra. You know what I mean? It ain't, let me do this on the side and she don't find out. You didn't see that from him, man. You know what I mean? So just out of love, respect, bro, like I appreciate that, man, seeing that from you, because you don't see that nowadays, man. Like I know plenty of cats that get it in, man, and they wives don't absolutely just don't know. You know?
Yeah, facts.
So like I said, with him, I applaud you, dog, for who you were, man. You know what I'm saying? And continue to be that person, bro. Real talk. Don't let that situation change you, man.
I appreciate that, man. And I'm definitely not gonna let that situation change me. But you know, it's a day-to-day struggle. It's not easy, because I feel like I'm just really trying to keep a lid on it. I do know there are certain things and certain challenges and obstacles that are much more easier to overcome than others. But then again, it feels like I'm just one slip away of messing up anything, you know? So I really try not to put myself, and I really appreciate it, but I also try not to put myself thinking that I'm better, because I don't feel as though I'm better than anybody else. You know, I feel like we're really all on the same playing field, and I really bounce off stuff from you, and even just from Reed. Really don't even know when we met back in college, but it was just like he was always so free and cool with everybody. He probably say, man, everybody was cool with Joey, but I'm like, I don't know, man. It was just a different level of freeness that Reed had that I felt like, okay, I wouldn't mind adding that into my repertoire of personality,
right?
You know. And then when I met you, and then it was at the Y shooting ball, and then we just always rap, what's up? You know, it always started with what's up? And then just from talking, and then I enjoy hearing you, because I'm like, man, he just sounds so strong. Like, this dude don't seem like he a joke whatsoever, you know. And I just said, I want my personality to feel strong, but then again, I may not walk like I'm super strong, but then again, I know what I will and what I will not do. And so I also knew I'm not going to be a punk about if I got to share with a woman what I'm doing in my life when it comes to spirituality and how I'm going to walk and how I'm going to believe and how I'm going to trust. And either you with that or you ain't, you know. And then Pook, when I met Pook, and then again, I met Pook through Marlo. I mean, just what's up, you know, what's up, man. Right. And then, but his ambition of him just taking hold of tasks when it comes to business. It's like, man, I feel like I did some things in the fashion world with being a buyer and stuff like that. But when it comes outside of that world, I'm a little foreign to it. But I really like the way he did it. And it was just, yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing. And just from listening, I'm like, I like that. And that was also a little inspiration of this second part of my life of some things that I'm trying to do as well. So, and I pick up a lot from Surratt. I picked up being strong from Surratt as well. I mean, Surratt just wasn't no joke back in the day. And I'm like, that's my dude. I go to the fires with him. But I like the way he thinks. And then even though he took my shirt when he was in college, I already forgave him before he even asked for forgiveness. I was like, dude, that's my cat. I would ride and die with Surratt as well. So yeah.
But yeah, so the things that I felt like I did, man, there was a lack of wisdom and understanding just as a young husband, man. Like I said, 22, 23 years old, just did not know how to face adversity. And that's going to happen in any relationship. I don't care how perfect you are for one another. That is a part of it, man. You're going to have some things you don't agree on. It's going to be some miscommunication, some misunderstanding. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days, you know. So I didn't know how to handle that. So going back to that original situation, I'm feeling essentially sexually deprived.
Okay.
So I'm not the happiest camper when you come home.
You upset.
You know, dinner's cooked. Hey, how you doing? What's up with it?
Yeah.
And I make a beeline for the bedroom, or I'm leaving out the house because I'm frustrated. I
Okay.
got married to not be in trouble anymore with this sexual thing.
Yeah.
And the very thing that I'm trying to get over is what's causing me all the hell in my life right now.
Okay. Now, did y'all had the conversation? Did you say, listen, you got to understand, I'm really going through it. Like, I don't want to be out here doing something strange, so I need you to, like, help a brother out. Did you have those conversations, or was that part of what you say, I didn't have the wisdom back then that I wish I had?
Over the course of the years, I got better at explaining how I was feeling.
Yeah.
At first, I know it's just a lot of frustration, but to try to understand, like, hey, you're going to end up pushing me in somebody else's arms. Now, that is not what I'm supposed to do as a Christian.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm supposed to do as a believer. And although I recognize that, man, I was mentally, and my flesh was just jumping, bro. Like, yo, I need this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so angry. I found myself angry all the time. And so I just was like, started looking for outlets, man.
Okay. Okay.
So just to be honest, like my first outlet, like I'm 20-something years old, and I'm not going to name them, but some cats put me onto a strip club. First time. I'm in there like a little schoolgirls with my arms crossed. Like,
this is foreign to
know
you.
What I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
close to this microphone. I'm like, can I touch this? What's that? You feel me?
Yeah.
I really didn't know. And then over time, ever so often, I found myself sneaking in there at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to be
The
around
outlet.
a female.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I don't think she really understood how bad that was affecting me and what it was starting to do to me and how far it would eventually push me.
So did that eventually go into, by then I learned how to touch the buttons and I learned how to turn the knobs?
Absolutely. It is a thing. And surprising me and Poop talk about it all the time. I've talked to so many men in church and out of church, married and unmarried, that's addicted to pornography, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go to strip clubs, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Just flat out cheating. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is, man, my wife is not handling her business at home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, man, because I never would have thought that, like I said, knowing what I know, like I said, from church, and knowing what I know now, you wouldn't think that would be an issue because women at times will ask for monogamy and they don't want you out doing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you signed up for this when you became my wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it's on a natural sense, just as a man, like, yo, it's in my DNA. We need sex. It just is what it is, man. But it seems to be like taboo, or it seems like it's work. But you ask me for monogamy. You ask me to forsake all others. And now that I need you in this way, whether that's 3 or 4 times a week, whether it's 5 or 6 times a week, I don't know about this, brother. Might be more.
Yeah.
But it's that's what we are there for, and they're there for, and it's even biblical, man. You know what I mean? Like, your body is not for you, and your body's not for it. It's for your wife. But that gets lost in translation so much, man. But I don't think sometimes women really understand how much that pushes men out. And we don't want to justify it, but the numbers will prove, man. I think statistically, and if you go to any barbershop, in any bar, in any gym, in any place, like, men are saying the same thing all across the world.
I was going to say one quick thing. Now, do you think, well, I think that's true. I mean, a lot of men would love to want to be fulfilled sexually at home. But do you think you ever realize, man, what about her past? Is there a reason why they're like this? Maybe there could be some issues or traumas that never got worked out or never thought to talk about before marriage that could be the reason why she's this way.
I think, man, just honestly, more so during our divorce in the last almost 12 years, I've learned more about her than I did
Ever
when we
before.
were married.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's kind of the hurtful part, because I think now we probably would have been low-key perfect for each other.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Just like that balance. I'm kind of high-strung. She's
Got it.
He a little high strong?
My bad. Kinda.
I'm a little high strung.
Little, it should not be in front of that. Very high strung.
High strung. She's kind of even keel, you know. But there were some things in her life too, like you said. Man, trauma is real, man. Childhood trauma is real. Relationship trauma is real. And if you don't deal with that crap, your adult relationship will. In every capacity, it will, man. And so,
Okay, talk that talk, Marlo.
she, you know, just to be honest, man, like she was adopted.
Okay,
We didn't find her real mother till 2015, 2016, man.
Wow, I was adopted too, so I know how to go.
So I believe that started to even kind of start some of the healing process for her. So we didn't think about all the things, just probably abandonment. You know what I mean?
Huge.
All those type of things.
Yeah,
man. But
fear,
I didn't
rejection.
know that at 22 or 23. I just
Absolutely.
wanted sex, and I still would want sex. You know, if I was married.
Yeah.
But that part of me that would be a little bit more understanding, a little bit more wise to tap in emotionally, like, hey, man, you know, how you doing today? Like, is there anything I can do for you? You know what I mean? Can I help? Can I be of assistance? And, you know, sometimes, man, you have to be, I don't want to say sometimes, being selfless in the marriage, man.
Absolutely.
It's all about that.
Pook and I, Joey too, we talk about the inadequacy of premarital counseling.
Yes, sir.
Or how it was when we was getting it. You know, it's like you didn't hear people back then. You might now. Hey, so let's talk about your childhood. You know, is there any traumas? You know, because it's like, how can you not take that into consideration? And then you get into the thing and you like getting all this stuff that you like, why is this? This should be a natural, I want you, you my wife, you should want me. I'm hoping you do, but we got this block, you know.
Again, we wasn't taught that though.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Like back then, to be bringing up and say, let's have premarital counseling. If it wasn't lay hands and that take it away,
Right.
Yeah,
it wasn't no talk about nothing else.
Yeah.
But then that pushed me into, like he was saying, you getting pushed into situations that you ain't equipped for. And then how do you, as a 22-year-old, really sit down and start talking and be like, I know I got this feeling that's burning inside of me. And she want me to sit down and talk to her about her past. Like, nah. Then we supposed to go through that. How are we going to sit and go through that? Because, again, I'm equipped in my mind to go with, well, I ain't seen my mom talk too much to my dad about what was going on.
Yeah.
It was simply, remember, this is how I was trained. Hey, we about to go? Let's go. We about to do this? Let's do this. The cooperation was at a level that I was really assuming my wife would be at.
It's the Wizard of Oz. All you saw was whoa and smoke.
Yeah.
You didn't see the little dude behind the curtain pulling the gizmos. Because what would have been dope is if a dad says, son, let me talk to you. Your wife ain't gonna always feel like breaking you off. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you might as well get your mind right.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Nah, get your mind right. Listen, son, let me tell you something about women. And then even if your mom schooled your son, like, baby, listen, let me tell you something. Your woman, blah, blah, blah. And then school the daughters and the whole, that would be dope, passing it down from generation to generation. But, I mean, and not like hating on them. They did the best they knew how to do. But that would have been mad helpful.
And just think about it even with outside of, me and him speak about it all the time. When I say we talk all the time. Outside of talking, we argue all the time. like
my married couple.
Like, nah, like old men just sit and argue and fuss about everything.
Ray and Claude.
Yeah. So when it come down to really people being like your brother and people that you respect, like I know I can call him and he gonna give me the unadulterated truth. It ain't gonna be stuff just to fluff me up and it'll be on that. But going to talk, like we talk on how we watch from just our parents about marriage, that also in your mind, you start to form these things of how you want to treat your kids. The good and the bad.
Yeah.
The stuff I didn't get growing up, I don't want to have that going on with my kids, right?
Facts.
But you having these things of how you wanted to go, but how does it really work out the way you really wanted to do? Right. Like, now, what do I do to get those results? Facts. How do I form a better relationship with my kids? how do I want to have a relationship to talk to them, right?
Am I gonna be as brutally honest and transparent with them as I wish that mine had
My
been with
parents
me?
would have been.
Because
Right.
it's scary.
It's scary because what you
It's
don't know what you don't know,
scary to
right?
say, listen, let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Right. And then at 20 something now, I mean, now I'm able to talk to my daughters a lot more free than I ever was with my dad and my mom. You know what I mean? Even to be like some things that maybe I know I didn't want to talk to my mom and dad about, but I'm pressing the point to talk to my daughters about now. I'm talking to them about men. I'm talking to them to make sure that they understand the do's and the don'ts and why this is happening, why that's not happening. Even drinking, even smoking, smoking weed, not smoking weed. Those type of conversations, I'm like, I felt like my dad and mom did the best they could, but I was in this world that I wasn't equipped to handle.
Yeah.
I wasn't equipped to handle drinking because I didn't see it.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't equipped to handle smoking because I didn't see it.
Right.
But now we didn't have cell phones at 12, at 10, at 15.
You got the
If
world,
we would have had
you
cell
got the world
phones
in your
then,
hand.
and we in church and had oh, bro, listen, the amount of activity.
I had enough trouble with
Right.
magazines.
And that's what I'm saying. So now just think about dealing with parenting and dealing with your kids and marriage outside of what we saw.
Yeah.
We didn't have the tools mentally to start handling the marriage, handling the relationship. I was the first one to have a kid out of wedlock. So now I got to handle the embarrassment of that.
Yeah.
And then trying to raise my daughter.
Your dad's a pastor.
Dad a pastor. And then trying to rush into not cover it up in a way, but really cover it up. Let me try to get married, right? Let me try to get married because I want to at least look good.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me look and have the appearance of it being, okay, he's doing the right thing. But not knowing how to manage that. I didn't know until lately that I'm like, okay, what if they say no? What if my wife, I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and go to church. She's like, no, I don't really feel like going tonight. I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
Without me feeling like, what you mean?
Why would you want to go?
No. We're going
You go
to
through the
church
manual
tonight.
like, wait a minute.
You know what I
what
mean?
page is that
It's
on?
like, now do I say it with a D? No. Listen, we
Oh, we
going to church.
to church.
And then if you ain't going without me looking at her sideways, like, now you got the devil in you now? Good, you ain't going to church? What you mean? Like, no, we tired. We just want to stay home.
Hey, Dad. What if they don't want to go? What do we do then?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay, got it.
But
You
then-
going.
Right. But then to feel like you're not embarrassed having that conversation with my parents, now I'm feeling like I done married a hellion.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I told the story on me and wifey's podcast when something we was arguing about. Man, she ripped a page out of the Bible and slapped it on her forehead and said, "Is this good enough for you?" Look at Lo's face.
yeah.
Lo was like,
You ripped
like,
it?
she's still alive. Yeah. No, but it was like we were young. It's like, okay, how are we supposed to, but you figure it out. Let me ask you, Lo, were you, when it didn't work out the way you felt it should have, were you ever mad at God? Or frustrated, like, dang, like, why ain't it? I did the stuff. I fulfilled my part of the agreement. I showed up to this joint a virgin. And I don't feel like I got, because of course you didn't know some of the childhood stuff and all that, but did you ever get frustrated?
It was honestly, man, later on in my life. You know what I mean? That was probably the toughest thing to be. Man, let's be real, late 30s up until now, really having those frustrations, man. Like,
Really?
Like when you think about it and you look back, you're like, all right, I had to start over. I lost this, lost that. My kids inevitably are affected. Just being real, like, man, I didn't tell my sons for like a whole year and some change that me and their mother was divorced, man.
Really?
Yeah, they were in school. I didn't want to affect them.
Yeah.
Didn't want them having issues and stuff like that. So, it was just something I wanted to hide. And then also, man, I was like, I didn't tell my parents, my grandparents.
Really?
Like a year. I didn't want no anointing oil. I didn't want no prayer meetings. I
Really?
didn't want nobody fasting. I was just like, I just want out. I just wanted to be out. And so afterwards, man, I was kind of frustrated. Afterwards, I was kind of angry. When you look over the years and like, man, I didn't think I would be 46, 3 sons, struggling at times with my emotions and things, man. You know what I mean?
In what way struggling?
Just feeling like, one, you go through those thoughts of feeling like a failure or inadequate.
That's huge. Man. Yeah, with men.
Feel me? I'm like, man, I didn't show my sons the right way. You know what I mean? So now they going like a generational curse, man. Like now they don't know how to be in a relationship right now. They ain't gonna know how to love a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like I was carrying that and have been carrying that. You know what I'm saying?
You still to some degree struggle with that a little bit, wrestle
Absolutely,
with those emotions.
Man.
Yeah.
My son, we actually had a talk today, man, and there is a situation going on that I feel like had me and your mother did a better job, had they seen us, you know, cooperating and communicating and loving each other a little bit more, maybe you wouldn't be dealing with the situation you're dealing with now. And so, like I said, our kids are affected by it, man. And even when as he's older, he's 24 years old, man, but you can tell like that little boy is still there. He still need my guidance. So, you know, like I said, man, when I do talk to God, there's sometimes I am being frustrated. I have to repent and tell God I'm sorry. Like, God, I ain't gonna lie, man. You know my heart. I can't hide it from you. Know my thoughts, man. But I'm salty. You allowed me to go through this. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was doing everything the way I was supposed to do it. You know, I stayed out the way. But I'm 46. Never put my lip to a drug a day in my life, though. Never. And I got homeboys that sell it. Got homeboys that, I mean, just everywhere. And I always tried to do the right thing, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't a club, or still no club, never was at the lounges, you know what I mean? So I did all these things, that I thought would equate to happiness, a successful marriage. I thought my dough was gonna be overflow if you did. For sure. Like cause I'm that guy, you know.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
You know,
that's gonna be blessings will result. Yeah,
you
for
feel
sure.
Because I'm like, God, he ain't living the way I'm living.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure enough baptized and I'm sure enough filled with the Holy Ghost. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
man? And
absolutely.
that's the kind of the thought process that I had. And me and this cat talk all the time. Like, he like, Lo, like, man, it does not equate to happiness, bro. It does not equate to financial success.
Joey
So,
went through
man.
the same thing. Joey was like
Yeah,
you just said, I don't know nobody. I'm just saying it this way, more perfect than this dude. And not that he's egotistical, because he's not.
Not at all.
But then you had those same feelings. Then you, Joey, like, dang, like.
I mean, so what I was going to say, because this is something that I'm doing, like I'm sharing with our kids, and then they're going to get even more specifics and details sooner than later. But I mean, just talking to them of how you should treat a young lady, you know, how a young boy should treat you whenever you go out on a date. And I share that with my daughter. I share that with our son. And I get to a point of letting them know how I say it to them that I'm serious, you know, and try to understand. You probably don't understand it right now. I know our son does because he has dated, but I don't still fully think he knows exactly what he should do with a young lady, because I've always shared with him, if a dad gets mad at you for something you did to his daughter, I have to understand where he's coming from. Oh, yeah. I don't want him beating you up or this or that, but you got to understand that's another man's daughter. And so, but I don't know how he raised his daughter, and I don't. So, and also sharing with my daughter, don't ever try to tempt or mess with a boy thinking he's not going to hit you back or he's not going to say something back. So, but there's going to be more, and that's something that you can do, just like I've been doing, man, because I share with my kids my flaws of growing up and also my childhood traumas and things that I've dealt with growing up.
But how did you handle the feeling, like Lo said, of I did all the stuff right and my marriage still didn't work out?
I have not had that talk, but that's going to
be... No, not the talk. I'm saying the talk with yourself.
Oh, with myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at God, but I did say, God, I mean, I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was following the plan. I ain't lose my virginity until 21. And so I'm right behind you, man. And I'm up here like, I never smoke weed. I don't drink. And I'm up here thinking I'm serving my wife, but God, look what done happened to me. And so I'm up here thinking, I know I'm not perfect, but I'm doing a lot of stuff right. Like you said, I'm saved, I'm sanctified, I'm set apart from the world. And I appreciate the acclimates and the words that people say that help me to let me know that I am still on that right path by, hey, Joey, man, you a good dude. You were this, you were that. And I'm like, but how come she didn't see it? How come, why did it happen to me? And so, but then again, to not beat myself up, I looked at it as, I truly believe she saw it. I believe that they saw it. It's not wrong. It's something wrong with them, not me. And I had to, again, take it to a point. Don't take it personal. And so that has been my therapeutic parts of keep saying it, faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So I have to say it to myself all the time, all the time, all the time.
So your thing is, just because you do everything right, it don't mean that you're gonna.
I see. My lessons was early, right? I was mad. I was upset with God. I definitely was, cause, it being raised to do what's right, and then you follow that plan to the best of your ability, right? Not saying you're perfect, cause again, nobody's perfect but God. You cannot tell me as a young adult. For me, it was a little worse because we was traveling throughout the country, seeing so many people get saved, seeing so many people come to Christ.
As a result of y'all singing and ministering.
And stuff. So this is what you've been groomed to do. And sacrificing so much of your life towards the ministry that you have been groomed to do and travel around, and you give, do so much, and then you see the results of what you're doing through ministry, and then to have life start happening. It's like, hold on. I know I messed up, but in my mind, I can't be one and done.
Right.
This mess up is really causing this much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it wasn't equaling up to me. It's like, I did this one thing. And this one thing you're telling me in my mind, I should be like, well, this is my payback. For how long? But how long is
when
this
is your
supposed
debt
to be?
paid off? Right?
You know what I mean? And then, but in your mind, it's like, this is what you equipped to go through. Like, well, you shouldn't have messed up. Well, you shouldn't have did this. And I'm like, I know I did more good than bad. And I done did more good. And because I'm that's when I was really, really judgmental. That's when I was really, really religious. And I was under this, like, God, no, I know what your word said. I know what we're supposed to be doing. And you telling me, I don't even cuss like that. I ain't drinking. I ain't doing this. But I mess up, and I got to pay for this for life. Right. And then I have to start, my judgmental side. Well, it says if you do this, and then scriptures start coming to justify my logic, right? Till my mom was like, hey, listen, boo, we had 6 of y'all. 6. All of y'all raised up under the same people. Same house, same everything. You mean to tell me that you, in your mind, believe that because I got married to make sure my kids would follow that same moniker, right? Had that. And she like, why do you think that's going to give you the results? I'm like, Mom, because that's what we've been taught. Do it this way, you should get these results. And she like, no. Life is going to happen to everybody. I started going to court. I went to court for my oldest daughter for 5 years straight. Wow. When I say I was upset, pissed, everything, because I'm like, there's no way I'm supposed to be getting these results and coming through. So now I'm crying. I'm like, God, ain't no way in the world it's supposed to be like this. But me having to grow up fast and me having to figure it out, it's like, you can do all that and still not get what you're supposed to get and not get the results you think you're supposed to have. So then, now as stuff start going on, I'm like telling him like, bruh, you can think that all day long. There is no perfect way for you to be this Christian and get the results the way you're supposed to, that you feel you're supposed to get. It ain't happening like that.
Is that hard for you to wrap your mind around, Lo?
Sometimes, man, it is. Because like I said, I was raised a certain way and you were taught almost a culture. Like if you do this, God gonna bless you. you know, get sin out of your life, because you know, and it was all, you know what I mean. God gonna bless you, and like he said, that one man. I don't even want to get started, bro. I feel that emotion, man.
Nah, come on, man. This is where we do that. Come on.
I felt like that one decision to get married, or that decision of having a female that's pregnant, and I rushed, altered the rest of my life, man. You know what I'm saying? And I still feel like sometimes like I've never recovered. So I battle with that thing.
So it's like a debt that you have that never gets paid off.
Never gets paid off, man. And you know, I could hear my grandma, like my grandmother told us, she sat in the room almost like this, man. She said, you ain't for him, she ain't for you. Y'all need to leave each other alone. My grandmother had mad discernment, man.
Before y'all got married?
Before we got married. But this was my first, like, kind of relationship, man. I was 21.
Yeah.
We exchanging cars and, you know, buying each other Christmas presents. And, you know, and then after a while, my first time kind of actually for real having sex, man. I was booty,
brother.
I was like, I didn't know.
Interrupted everything.
I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie, my first few times, I was like, man, this is what everybody tripping about. I'm like, it's all right. You know what I mean?
This was
like,
taking kings and
you feel
heads
me?
of nations down?
Real talk, though. I was like, because, man, like you said, it wasn't magazines. It wasn't no pornography.
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
bruh.
yeah.
I didn't know. And so, like I said, man, it was kind of one of those things where later on, and as years started going by, I'm like, man, I feel like I am never going to recover. Like the damage and some of the trauma that I went through, and some of the trauma, like I said, that I caused her, man. But to be 46 and where I'm at now, man, it feel like sometimes, like, man, like this was an everlasting punishment, man, because I feel like I've never recovered, man. And there's still some areas that I'm dealing with, bro. Like, you know, we talk about being healed for real, in order to go into the next relationship. And even though I feel like I am on so many levels, like us talking about this, man, like I could feel it. Like when you mad at God, like I feel that emotion, man. And I have to like bury it under anger, man. You know what I'm saying? Because other than that, it comes out as tears, man. It comes out in those moments where you at home talking to God and it's just in tears, man. 'Cause I'm like, man, like, do I get a second chance? Do I get a chance to start over?
You get an answer back?
Man, not like I want, man. You know what I mean? When
So
you
you
struggle
don't-
with that relationship with God, for real, instead of just going to church, or like I know church, man. I know church protocol frontwards, backwards, from the announcements to the A&B
Everything,
selection
yeah.
to, you know what I mean, to the scripture and the standing up, and I got the shirt and ties and the suits, and I knew all of that.
Giving under to God.
Exactly. We know everything, every benediction known to man, but they didn't really teach us that relationship with God. It was like, get saved, be baptized, filled with the Holy Ghost, live right. And that's all they threw down our throats.
Rules
And even though
and regulations,
I love the doctrinal teaching, man. I will never stray from that. But they didn't teach me how to have a relationship with God. So now I'm a grown man still battling with, God, is that you? Is that you telling me to do this? Is this the religious part of me telling me to do this or not do this? You know, and then like I said, wanting to have a wife, man, somebody that I want to be in covenant with, and sometimes wondering if, like, man, is that ever gonna happen again?
It sounds like you were trained to accept his judgment but not his love.
Absolutely, man.
Because right now what I hear from you is a lot of self-condemnation.
Yeah.
Because God ain't condemning you like that. It's the internal beating your own self up. You know what I mean? Because of how you was taught. And it's like, you know, a lot of times we all had that same kind of teaching. You saw God as like this old guy with the long white beard, you know what I'm saying, just waiting, like the fire-breathing dragon, waiting to beat you up as soon as you messed up. Yeah. But we all fathers. When our kids mess up, are we just waiting to beat them up?
He was, but I'm just...
He said he was. He was. Everybody suffer low. Was y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Real talk. That's all we knew, though.
That's all you knew.
That's all I seen.
That's all I seen. Yeah. So it changed me because I had daughters.
Softened you up.
My dad handled all the boys. I never seen him with my sisters. Never. So when it came down to discipline, Pops handled us. Mom, I was like, I asked him one day, I got old enough, like, How come you don't never whoop them? He was like, man, I never hit them while I'm upset. My anger and being upset will cause me to hurt them. And I'm not trying to hurt them, right? So our discipline styles, mine came from what I saw. But I had to learn something new because them was my little girls. But I saw how my mom handled my sisters in a way to not make them as gullible and soft. Because she like, I refuse to send y'all into this world thinking everybody gonna handle you like your dad or your mom will. So my dad was the disciplinarian. He gonna be on you, right? So by the time my older sister Tisha, she strong-willed, mentally, you know, she got herself together. She ain't about to get just ran over like that. Right. But that came from mental toughness from my dad. So everybody in our family is mentally tough. And there's no, you ain't about to say nothing to hurt none of their feelings, just like talk to them crazy to a fault though, right? Yeah. So with the older sisters, older girls, a man could get to raising their voice and they like, oh, you think you doing something?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Rough though, man.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm like to a fault.
Yeah.
But they're so used to it, then they know how to respond to where their feelings ain't gonna get hurt so much. Until we, you know, but me raising my daughters is like I had to raise them to where now I don't want no man raising their voice at them. I don't want no man talking to them like that. But I had to start changing it because it handicaps them. If I treat them with so much cotton, then they fragile. Can't nobody say nothing to them. Let me hold your hand through everything. I had to start sending them out a little more to say, nah, dad ain't gonna be there all the time. You got to be able to think and act on your own. But that took me learning that. My dad didn't sit down and teach me that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about the love and how we manage and stuff, I was taught to be a lot more judgmental with my love. I handle my exes with a judgmental love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because that's how we was taught.
I was definitely self-righteous. I mean, big time self-righteous. And kids are good because they break you, man. Because they gonna mess up. Royal. And the challenge is I don't want to say like I gotta love you because I do love you, but I cannot just say somebody does something that hurts you, a friend, whoever, you be like, man, I'm cool on you. But they 12, they 15, I stole the car, I did this, I did that, blah. You mad. Like I'm talking about mad. So now you're trying to manage that anger, and I know I can't kill you, you know, because I love. So that's why I said, you know, that really helped me understand God. Like I can see how I can do stuff that would hurt his heart as a father, but he like, come on. Your mama made some dinner on the stove. Right. Oh, you gonna still feed me? Right. So you know, with you, Lo, I think for you, one of the things that I would suggest work on the self-forgiveness, because I think you're seeing God through the lens of. We often going to see God through the lens of how we were raised. However you saw your earthly parent, oftentimes that's because when we little shorties, that's how we going to see God. Because you hear the term father, and then you say he's your heavenly father. I only can relate to one type of father. Right. So I don't know, your father, was he a warm and fuzzy, cuddly, come over here, you know?
Not a lot, man. My dad did show emotion though, as far as he would sometimes, you know, hug us, man, tell us he loves us and whatnot, man.
What about when you screwed up?
Nah, man. It was as we got older, my dad began to talk to us a little bit more about stuff, man. But early on, it was, where my belt?
So, but see, and we do that. That's now the relationship you have with your heavenly Father. Yeah. Because you feel like you still paying, you still getting spanked from what you did way back when. You like, dang, we like, Lo, when you gonna come out play ball with us, man? You know, God got me on punishment, man. I can't.
Nah, Reed, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I feel like that so much of my life, man. Like I said, man, this dude, we talk every day, man. If it's 365 and we probably talk 360,
I know.
man. You know what I'm saying? And it's been therapeutic, man, for me. Just like I said, sometimes to have just somebody to bounce something off of, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always thought like, man, I would have a bunch of friends and just like I got a lot of associates, bro. But it's rare that you really like can say like you got real friends, like cats that really got you, man. You know what I mean? When you go through a divorce, when you go through loss of job, when you go through financial issues, man. When
And
you
they
going
still
through
there.
things with your kids and deaths in your family, you know what I'm saying, man? And so like this stuff is just it's so needed. So like I said, my dad, I can honestly say my dad's a little bit more of my friend now because we have different conversations, man. And like I said, we're older, but it still was an effect, you know, because like I said, it was so much church that we didn't get a chance to sometimes really talk about that natural stuff, man. And so I do still feel like I live with a lot of self-guilt. There's sometimes I haven't forgiven myself, man.
What's preventing you from doing it?
Probably me, man, but you know, like certain struggles that you still have as a man.
Okay, got
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sometimes I just was like, man, by 46, I should have passed this test by now, man. I shouldn't be struggling with this anymore, man. You know what I mean?
Says who?
You know, but it's like for me, you just feel, excuse me, again, man, you feel like for yourself, you like, man, I've been battling with this for a minute, man. And even though now I see more things like in the church and out the church, like cats is struggling with some of the same things I'm struggling with. But as when you younger, man, you see these elders, these preachers, these pastors, it's such a reverence for them, bro.
Because everybody look like Joey.
Everybody look like Joey. Real talk.
Quiet.
Bishop Joy Williams, diocese elder. You know what
you're talking about?
Apostle Williams.
Yeah.
And man, you grow up thinking that, man, and then it wasn't until, like I said, man, my late 20s and 30s, and even now, man, even we're talking with this guy all the time, like you start to see the vulnerability, man, and I'm just now really starting to understand, like, yo, we still men, no matter what title you hold, you can still fall at any moment, man. And so, like I said, sometimes I just don't forgive myself. And one of those hard ones was when, you know, like I said, man, when I was married, we had separated, man. And I had met somebody, we kicked about 6 months, just friends, wasn't nothing. But then you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burned, man. So, you know, I ended up having another son, man. And that was so hard to live down because people really didn't know my story. You dig what I'm saying, man? It was just like, you could feel like the judgmental eyes. Oh, man, he this, he a dog, he this and that. And I'm like, y'all really don't even know, man. Like if I really pulled the cover, and I still won't, just because, you know, honestly, man, I do feel like I'm a man of integrity, man. I still protect, even now, 12 years later, man. Like, nah, y'all, I wouldn't let nobody just put their mouth on her and say anything. You feel me? I'm still going to come to that rescue like, nah, it ain't like that. Or, nah, you don't get a right to say that, man. You did what I'm saying? But I felt so bad because I felt like I couldn't explain my side of the story.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell people, like, hey, man, this is really what happened. Or did you know I really wasn't even in the house when this situation happened? We were actually going to get a divorce, and I couldn't make it to court the day that we were supposed. Like, people don't know that. It's the first time that I'm airing this crap out, man.
But you had to accept the judgment. You had to take the judgment without, and the conviction and the punishment without being able to have or take your day in court, so to speak, to say, this is what happened.
Man. Exactly, man. Because you hear, you know, it was just the rumors, man, or this, that, like, I mean, you know, Marlo, oh, yeah, Playboy Lo, this, that. And it was just this crazy perception, and cats that was smiling in my face, what up, Lo, this, man. You, like, and not knowing sometimes, like, bro, I know some stuff about you right now that I can just air out on you, dog, but I, you know what I'm saying? I ain't even with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of that going on, man. Okay. So that affected me as a man, bro, because I was just like, dog, like, y'all really don't know, man. And so men had their perspective, women had their perspective, and then it was like almost like an alter ego created, bro, of what people thought about Marlo.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I would try to be nice. Like, I would speak and talk and laugh and talk to different women. Wasn't doing nothing. People's, with that coupled with my mistake, my outward mistake where I was actually caught. This ain't just, oh, this was an interaction. Like, nah, dog, You red-handed, fingerprints, video, my nigga.
Smoking gun.
Eyewitness,
Like
smoking gun. You feel me? Chocolate chips on my mouth. Like,
Right.
this nigga really cold.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the difference, man. A lot of times, like, I was the nigga that got caught, but some of these guys was doing the same.
Yeah.
You know, and it was hard for me to live that down, man. And it took a long time. And my son now was 18 years old, man. Thank God, graduated from high school, man. You know what I mean? But those were some of the things, bro, that I dealt with, man. It was hard to live that down when you got 3. And they're like, man, I thought you only had 2. Where this kept come from?
Yeah,
bro, that was one of the toughest times of my life, man.
That's a whole lot in there to unpack. That probably requires its own episode. And I appreciate your vulnerability, man, for real. One thing you said real quick before we get out of here, I gotta touch on this because it was so dope when you said it. You was like, a lot of times I want to be vulnerable, but I've learned for whatever reason it's not accepted. So my vulnerability comes out as anger. Can you visit that or revisit that and share a little bit what you meant by that?
When you are taught as a kid, young man, pretty much all of us, man, from a little boy, you could remember any type of information. Don't cry, you know, suck it up, be tough, this, that, and the third. So you grow up with this mentality, man, thinking that you can't be vulnerable, you can't show any emotion, man. You know what I mean? And as you get older, you start to live with that, and it actually becomes a part of you, man.
Yeah.
To where any situation, whether loss of life, whether it's loss of job, whether it's, you know, you and your wife are going through something, man, and you feel like you cannot show that side of you that's actually like, yo, man, I'm human. Like the most perfect person in the world who has all power to say Jesus wept, man, and Jesus showed vulnerability at times, man, but the culture where we at as men or niggas or from the hood or whatever you want to call it, man, you show emotion, man. Like, I done read comments from y'all stuff, bro.
They going
and
in.
niggas be going. And I be pissed. I be wanting to be like, nigga, you don't even know him, nigga. Like, you know, I be salty, bro. Like you said, I'm high showing emotion, man. You feel me? I be like, man, y'all don't even know my nigga. Like, you was a sucker. Like, I be wanting to go off, bro.
Your mama.
And, you know, and it's a shame, man, because on the flip side, I'm sitting there like, this is what's wrong with us as black men. You know what I mean? It's a culture thing, man. It's like in our DNA. It's destroyed everything, man, to where we can't really sit down as men and really be vulnerable. Be like, yo, man, my wife cheated. I'm hurt, man. My heart is broke, dog. Or man, I lost my job, man. Or I've lost this job. Or man, my finances ain't where it should be at, bro. And I'm really struggling, man. And I don't know where to place this at. And so because I felt like I didn't have that vulnerable place, man. You know, like some women will be receptive to that, dog. And some women think you a sucker, you a punk. You know what I mean? Like not knowing, like, bro, like if you really knew me, like for real, you wouldn't even be on that. Like at the end of the day, like when it go down, like yo, I'm playing for keeps, man.
Right, yeah.
But you feel like sometimes you can't show that side because they won't respect you at the end of the day. You let a tear drop, man. You have that soft moment where you like, man, I just need to lay my head in your lap. And I felt like I couldn't do that. So the only emotion that started feeling good to me was anger, man. Like I could deal with that. So like
the anger was more acceptable.
It was more acceptable
than you crying.
Than me crying. The times that I wanted to cry ended up me punching a hole in the wall. Me punching a hole in the door. You know, me knocking off expensive clones that I done cutting my hand all open, man. And it was one day when I did that and I punched a hole in the wall, and it was just like I just woke up like, you dumb nigga, like you destroying your own crib. You gotta fix that. And it's just like, you gotta fix that, nigga.
You gotta pay to fix it.
You feel me? It was like, that was the moment that I woke up. I was like, oh snap, like you really out of control, bro. You know what I'm saying? You for real, you losing it. And so, like I said, man, that affected my kids, where my son's like, man, sometimes dad unapproachable. Wow. I didn't like hearing that, man. So that was more pain that was more hurt because I'm like, I'm the bad person now. I'm the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm dealing with all this stuff that I really want to be able to say to your mother, and I really want to be able to have this safe place
Like
to really release.
Sarat said last week, how did I get the house I was trying to avoid?
Man, I created a house where probably worse than my dad, to keep it a buck. And I didn't, and my dad is a good man. My mom wasn't no joke. She was a cheek smacking, pinching, comb popping wonder out here, man. You did, but it was, like I became that, almost like a dang. Good, bro.
It's all right, man. It's something about. You can't get me to sit in that chair.
No.
Poop. Yeah. That's when I said at the beginning. I said, where we sitting at?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was sitting that chair, but it was 3 chairs.
This the cry chair,
I was like,
bro.
Because this emotion that hit you. But man, I felt like an animal, man, and I felt like a failure too. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm just now trying to take that whole thing of comparison is the thief of joy, man. I'm just trying to learn that, bro. Because this nigga tell you, man, every day. I'm like, man, how this nigga got this, and this, or what? They kids seem to be doing so much better, and they wasn't raised like I was raised, and they didn't do.
Right.
Man, we in church Monday. I'm in church Wednesday. I'm in church Friday. I'm in church twice on Sunday. You know what I mean? And so I thought that meant that my kids were gonna be this, and my kids would be that, and that I would be this, and then I would be that. And it's been a struggle, man. So like I said, I felt like Sarat had said on that episode, like I created a house to where my kids were, it was getting that overly healthy fear, overly fearful, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, I can't even bring this to dad because he might pop off. And why you always worried about my reaction? Why you always worried about my reaction? I'm telling her the same thing.
Why you so scared of me?
Why you so scared? Exactly.
Right.
I cocked up. Snot coming out my nose. Cuz, nigga, you wildin' right now.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, don't nobody want to bring nothing to you.
Man,
and that was hard for me to deal with, man. So I still, like I said, man, I had those struggles, but anger at times still feel good to me, man. It's my safe place, man. Ooh. And I have to literally, you could ask me, I'm telling you no lies, bro. There's days I'm like, man, I'm just staying at home today because I feel it. Like one road rage incident, man, and I'm out the window, man, and he know me. Like, it ain't too many guys that really know me. Like, I try never to get to that point. Try never to. Because and it was something, man, that I noticed in my dad too. My dad is so laid back. My dad is so cool, but man, he got a switch though.
He got another gear.
That's that. Yeah. My dad the type of like, man, I'm gonna ruin everybody Christmas. Really? Yeah. Like he can go there, so it's best just like David Banner. Just like he like, hey man, don't do that. And a lot of cats that's quiet, a lot of cats that's reserved. A lot of dudes that are laid back, that don't do a whole lot of barking. Like a lot of times, them the most dangerous dudes.
Facts.
You feel me?
So they don't talk about fighting. They get at it.
The whole block on fire. You feel me? So man.
So it's two things, man. Before we go, that I know that we struggle with as men, right? How to definitely speak about what we talking. How we feel. Fear and anger, bro. Fear and anger, those two emotions.
We might have to do a part 2 because
ruin everything, bro. For real.
Lo, you got it cracking at the end, man. It's so good. It was so much to unpack on what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to get at it, man. What should we do, man?
We had to get another one, man.
This is exactly what you about to do. You know what? I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. So we're gonna be coming back with a part 2. So, man, we had so much juice in that, man. But it's gonna set so many people free. There you go. That's where you.
That's exactly where I'm going with it. Listen, it's just a tricky way to get you to come back, man. You know what I'm saying? Because now you get to be the clip, you know what I mean? And you get to see the comments like you was going in. And
tough, man.
So we're going to say don't read the comments.
Yeah.
But nah, Lo, your vulnerability, man. And I don't say that lightly because it is not easy to get out here. I mean, we all cool. We all know each other. but still, just as men, like you said, we don't get the green light, the permission to go there. So for you to come out here, man, and trust us and share what you shared, I appreciate it, man. And I love you for it, bro.
Love you too, man. Appreciate being here, man.
Much love. So as Joey said, hey y'all, listen, we got to get out of here. We'll have Low back, I promise. Ladies, I'm not giving you his DM information. I promise I'm not. I'm starting a dating service. It's $10,000 a wop. I'm the middleman. So, get at me and we'll set it up. So, hey, listen, y'all take care. Ellis.
Peace.
Peace.
See y'all next time. Peace.